You notice a few tiny purple flowers growing through the lawn. They are low, untidy, and definitely not part of your original garden plan. Your hand reaches down to pull them out. But wait, before you remove this little plant, look beneath its leaves. Something far more important may be hiding there. Those pale dots could be butterfly eggs. That nearly invisible creature resting in the shade could be a newly hatched caterpillar. And this ordinary-looking violet may be the only suitable food it can find. To us, the plant occupies only a few inches of lawn. To the caterpillar, it may be an entire nursery, shelter, and food supply combined. The most important part of this story is not the purple flower we immediately notice. It is the hidden life beneath the leaves, and the future butterfly that may never exist if the plant disappears.
Violets often appear in places where people do not expect or necessarily want them. They grow among lawn grasses, along paths, beneath shrubs, beside woodland edges, and in areas of partial shade. Because they remain close to the ground, they are easily dismissed as accidental weeds. But violets are more than small decorative flowers. They are part of a living food web. Their blooms may provide early season resources for visiting insects, while their leaves serve an even more specialized purpose. For the caterpillars of certain butterflies, violets are essential food plants. Not every purple flower can perform this role. An ornamental plant with a similar color is not automatically an ecological substitute. The genus Viola contains many different species, and the most useful choice depends on the butterflies and native plants found in your region. Preserving naturally occurring local violets or planting suitable native species helps maintain relationships that may have developed over thousands of years.
To understand why violets matter, we need to separate two different kinds of butterfly food. An adult butterfly usually drinks nectar. Using its long proboscis, it can visit many kinds of flowers and fly elsewhere when one source becomes unavailable. A caterpillar has a completely different problem. It cannot simply fly to another garden. It can only crawl, and many species are extremely selective about the leaves they can digest. The plant eaten by a caterpillar is called its larval host plant, or food plant. For some butterflies, only one plant species will work. Others may use several closely related species, but their choices are still limited. A garden filled with nectar flowers may feed adult butterflies while offering absolutely nothing to their young. If the correct host plant is missing, eggs may never be laid there. If a caterpillar hatches and cannot find suitable leaves, the life cycle ends before the animal ever develops wings.
Violets have a particularly important connection with fritillary butterflies. Many fritillary caterpillars depend on plants in the genus Viola. Their orange and black adults may be seen drinking nectar from various flowers, but the next generation begins much closer to the ground. One example is the pearl-bordered fritillary, Beloria euphrosyne. Its most widely used food plant is common dog violet, Viola raviniana, although it can also use certain other violet species. This relationship varies between butterflies, habitats, and regions. A violet that supports one species in a woodland clearing may not be the main host used by another fritillary in a grassland or wetland. That is why local knowledge matters. The important question is not simply, do I have something purple in my garden? It is, do I have the right viola species growing in the right conditions for the butterflies that naturally occur here? The earliest stage of a fritillary's life can be extraordinarily risky. Females of some species do not necessarily place every egg directly on a violet leaf. Eggs may be attached to nearby dry vegetation, leaf litter, grass stems, or small twigs. When the caterpillar emerges, it must locate the correct host plant. Imagine that journey from its perspective. A few inches of open ground become an enormous exposed landscape. The caterpillar cannot see the garden as we do, and it carries only a limited supply of energy. Its food must be close enough to find. If the violets were removed during weeding, cut by a mower, or killed with herbicide, the newly hatched caterpillar may search without success. The egg can survive, the caterpillar can emerge, but without the correct leaves nearby, there is no next stage, no chrysalis, no adult butterfly, and no future generation. A small violet patch may look insignificant to us. Perhaps it interrupts the uniform appearance of the lawn. Perhaps it occupies a corner we intended to keep perfectly neat. But for a caterpillar, that patch can be an island of survival. The leaves provide food. Their shade helps retain moisture. Surrounding grass, leaf litter, and stems create shelter and a more stable microclimate. Frequent close mowing removes much more than visible flowers. It may destroy eggs, caterpillars, resting places, and the protected conditions they need. Herbicides remove the host plants themselves. Insecticides can kill the insects we hoped to welcome. A perfectly uniform lawn may look controlled from human height, but at ground level, it can be an ecological desert. Leaving even a modest group of violets undisturbed can preserve an entire miniature habitat and give a tiny caterpillar somewhere to eat, hide, and continue its transformation. Helping begins with a simple decision. Do not remove every naturally occurring violet. Leave a small patch untouched, especially along a path, beneath a shrub, or at the edge of the lawn. Mow less frequently around it, and raise the cutting height where practical. Avoid trimming the entire garden at once, so insects always have somewhere to shelter. Do not use herbicides or insecticides unless they are genuinely necessary. Even products applied nearby may affect the plants or animals you are trying to protect. Allow a modest amount of fallen leaf litter, grass, and natural vegetation to remain around the violets. A wildlife habitat does not need to look abandoned, but it should not be completely sterile. If you want to add violets, research species native to your region and suited to your garden's light, soil, and moisture. Most importantly, identify the local butterflies you hope to support. The best host plant is not simply the prettiest violet, it is the one their caterpillars can actually eat. Saving a violet does not automatically create complete butterfly habitat. The plant must grow under suitable conditions with the right balance of light, moisture, warmth, and shelter. Adult butterflies also need nectar throughout their flight season. The strongest butterfly garden therefore combines low-growing host plants for caterpillars, diverse nectar flowers for adults, and undisturbed places for resting, pupation, and overwintering. A butterfly does not need one perfect plant. It needs a connected living system. A weed is often just a plant whose value we haven't yet realized. To you, that violet occupies just a few centimeters of lawn. To a caterpillar, it could mean the world. So before you pluck that tiny purple flower, stop and take a closer look. Look under the leaves. Perhaps a future butterfly is already beginning its life there. And next time, meet a nighttime garden guardian who eats slugs and other pests, for free. Why are toads one of nature's best pest control methods?